when I was doing my PhD, I had to do a 1-year PhD review. So I had to obviously give a presentation to the professors and everything. And I remembered when they called my name, I quickly stand up. I read the text in 2 minutes, a 15-minute presentation. I read it in 2 minutes and then I just sat down. And then hello, Sharika. Oh my God, we
Hi.
made it.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Good morning. And how are you?
Good morning to you too. I am doing great also. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can.
Okay, wonderful. So I know you don't have a lot of time, so let's just jump right into it. Good morning, everyone. So today's show is way earlier than usual, but that's because I'm trying to get to work with Dr. Jamil's time. So today I have the beautiful Dr. Izdihar Jamil. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yes, you
PhD.
did.
She's a #1 international best-selling author of money makers and media expert. She's been on Forbes, Fox TV, TED, and she's also a TEDx speaker, right? So her mission is to help women use their voices without prejudice. And she has an amazing story, and I'm just gonna allow her to tell you about herself and what she's been through, what her journey has been like, and how she's made it from where she was to where she is now. So please help me welcome Dr. Izdihar Jamil to the show. And I do hope that today is gonna have something of substance that can be for all of our edification. So, Dr. Jamil, the stage is yours. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, 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 everyone. How are you? Hope having an amazing, amazing day, and may peace be upon you. Thank you so much for joining me today with Sharika. I hope you guys are doing okay. If you guys can hear us okay or see us okay, just click on the hearts and the likes button. Show us some love. We would love some love to receive from you. And what a blessing it is to be here today, Sharika. Again, thank you so much for inviting me. I know we've been working on getting each other's face for weeks and months now, and it is finally here. And I feel that that is something, is one of the characteristics of successful people, because sometimes it's just not easy, right? Sometimes you just have to do it again and again and again. You didn't make it or work it out, but you leave it and then you get back up again. I think that is kind of like a Polaroid, a snapshot of my life. It's about all the things that you see. Nothing has come easy. I had to do it over and over and over again, whether it's becoming a TED speaker, practicing on the lives just like this since 2018, getting onto stages, speaking of people, because reality is I'm scared of public speaking, like live on stage when those eyeballs are on you. I'm like, especially coming out of COVID, right? I've always been scared of public speaking. Like I knew when I was doing my PhD, I had to do a 1-year PhD review. So I had to obviously give a presentation to the professors and everything. And I remembered when they called my name, I quickly stand up. I read the text in 2 minutes, a 15-minute presentation. I read it in 2 minutes and then I just sat down. And then from the corner on my left, Professor Nigel Smart, who is he's a computer scientist. You can imagine a British computer scientist, curly hair, big glasses, faded t-shirt and jeans, just looked at me. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. This girl, she's a PhD candidate. It really scares me. But I had to have a lot of help from experts, from storytelling to stage performance to confidence to own my TED Talk. You can check out my TED Talk, Coming to America, a story of hijab wearing women, and then also a lot of practice. So today is a beautiful example of my life. And I feel that as an immigrant woman, a woman of color, or someone who looks different than everyone else here in America, Rather than hiding or doubting myself or being scared because I faced a lot of social adversity coming here, I decided that I was gonna put more of myself out there so you can see I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And the key for me, what I go for are prestigious platforms because that's where my voices are going to be heard the most and where I'm going to be taken seriously. So I hope that gives a little bit of introduction about who I am and what I do. And I absolutely love helping women just like yourself to share your voices as well on prestigious platforms without prejudice.
Wonderful. I love it. So I watched your TED Talk, right? And you told a story in your TED Talk that had me thinking, oh wow. And I know maybe the people on this live haven't seen your TED Talk. So if you don't mind sharing that story with us about, tell us where you're from, which country you're from, and then tell us about your process of transitioning to living in America.
Yes, absolutely. So it all started the day when my husband Riza says to me, I got my dream job. Do you want to move to America? And I said, okay, babe, let's do it. So I left my job as a computer scientist with a PhD in Malaysia. And then my husband Rizal, myself, my 4-year-old son Abrar, and then my daughter Nada, who's still a baby then. So we moved here to Orange County, California. And then not long after, we're settling in our new environment, coming here. I remember like when I come out of the Los Angeles airport, coming out, there I am coming out with my hijab, just like this, my colorful hijab. And then when I look around, I'm like, okay, this is different. Like I stand out. And then this insecurity start to pop up, Sharika. Do I fit in? Do I belong? Is this a place for me? And am I going to be accepted? Because I'm literally like a fish in a new pond, right? And then we got settled into our new home and everything. And then there was that one day when someone knocks on the door. And then my daughter, Nadra, was like, Mommy, someone's at the door. So Nadra and I, we, walk together to the front door. We open it, but there's no one there. And I'm like, this is pretty weird. I'm pretty sure someone knocks at the door. And then we look down, right on our doorstep, there's this green plastic bag. At first I'm thinking, what is it? What's going on? What is this? And then I'm like, oh my God, it can't be it. Is that what I think it is? And I quickly crunched down. I opened it to check it out. And sure enough, the smell, the first thing that hits me, Sharika, was the smell. It was awful. Awful. So someone had literally thrown a bag of dog waste on our doorstep and had the audacity to knock on my door because clearly they wanted to find out, right? Clearly right on our doorstep, knocked to find out, and they run away. Because when I go out, obviously I check it out. I look to my right, I look to my left. There are 8 doors in our apartment block. And ours were the only one with that green bag of dog waste, the only one. And then the most heartbreaking part is that when I hear my daughter from just softly from behind me, because I was out then, just like, Mommy, why are they doing this to us? What can you say as a mom? That's the moment I'm just like, I crumbled. And I'm like, God, what did we do wrong? Did we make a mistake coming to America? Because children, they don't understand all this adversity. They don't understand this hatred, right? All they know is that inner life is good. I have money, I have food. But when things like this happen, she is 8 now, Nadra. She still remembers it till today. Talk about trauma, right? She still remembers it to today. Obviously, it's not as intense as it was before, but she still remembers it today. And the impact that people can have, your actions can have to other people, to people with family, to children. So I think that is something worth talking about, or at least something worth being put in awareness that your actions can impact other people, family, children, someone's daughter, someone's mom, someone's son, someone's husband, someone's grandparents.
Right, right. How does it affect the way that she reports with other kids?
No, not so much, because obviously she was young then, so she had to learn. We taught her certain things, we exposed her, but she just still remembers it every now and again. But if you see her friends, she's very open, she's very excited, she's very joyful. She's like a social butterfly. So she loves people. So I think more than anything, it kind of helped her to step up a little bit or be open or kind of like, hey, hang on a minute, this is who I am. This is what I'm like. This is like what my mom's taught me or my parents taught me. Like the rest are not true. So I think the more that happened, the more that she's out there putting herself as well and kind of sharing who she is.
Wow, that's really good. That's really good. Maybe if she was older at the time, it would have had a more lasting effect. So I guess we have to give thanks that it happened when it happened. Well, I mean, it shouldn't have happened, but wow. Anyways,
Yeah, unfortunately
so
it did. Yeah, unfortunately it did. But I think like it's also a blessing because it got me a TED Talk. It got me a TED Talk so that I can like, it got
life
me
is
a
a
TED
funny
Talk.
thing,
I
isn't
wrote it
it?
in my book. So I was able to take it and turn it into a positive,
Right.
and like share my message out there, like to share what is about social adversity, how can you overcome it, what are the things that you can look for, talking about your roots, your heritage, should you compromise it, should you change yourself, should you blend yourself. There are times, Sharika, when I thought, should I even take off the hijab, right, or the head covering? And I've worn it since I was 11 years old to that point. So I guess, like I always say, when I look at it, I didn't know what had happened then, but I'm like, okay, it got me a TED Talk. I get to share my message to the world. I get to touch people's hearts. I get to bring awareness to people. I'm like, okay, thank you very much, God. Thank you very much for that.
So, okay, so you came to America, you faced a lot of prejudice and social indifference and stuff like that. How did you get from there to being on Forbes and Fox and getting a TED Talk, and now you've written a best-selling book about making money in a foreign country as a hijab-wearing woman? I can't imagine that was an easy task. So how did you manage to get from one place to the next, and within a short
Ah,
space of time too?
yeah. I think it all started off with my grandma, Mamin, when I was younger. I think she planted like the seed of entrepreneurship. My grandma, Mamin, is a stay-at-home mom, but she loves nice things. And with my grandpa, to Aji would give mommy a set amount every month. So whatever, if she wants more, she either has to take a credit, which will be deducted from the next month's allowance, or she has to figure it out, to take the difference, right? So mommy figured it out. And on her dining table, there's always things, Sharika. There's always like clothes, jewelry, food, whatever it is. I'm like, mommy, why do you have all these things? And she's like, I'm gonna sell it. But why? Because I love money. I love nice things. So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna create that extra income. She would cook, she would bake, she would sew, she would use whatever her skill set that she has. And I've learned that from a young age to use whatever skill set that you have. And then after that, it starts for me moving to moving to England. Then I was doing my PhD. I was about 4 months pregnant, 5 months pregnant, and we wanted to eat healthy because of our first baby. And my husband was like, "Let's start a business." And I'm like, babe, I'm like 4 months pregnant. I'm doing a PhD. You want to start a business? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So, because we wanted to eat healthy, that was our mission. So we created a service to kind of in alignment with what we wanted to offer, what we wanted to have, which is healthy, organic, produced from the farm. And then we kind of offered it to the community as well. So one of the things I've learned from early on, what mommy taught me, is about making other people, helping to make things easy for other people. Number two is about what is it that you need for yourself and see how you can expand it to your community. So rather than just taking that organic chicken or meat or lamb or vegetables for myself, we offered it as a service, right, to community. So like my fundamentals have already been set for years. 4 years. And I think that is key, Sharika, when people want to jump into business. I'm handing in my resignation, my 24-hour resignation right now, and I'm going to be making 10K every month. I'm like, dude, chill out. Like, what is your fundamental? Like, you don't even know how to like make sales or create an offer or do marketing. So I've already practiced it for some time over the years. And then when I came to America, the social adversity, one of the things that my husband did, he got me an online course so I can be an online coach and consultant, because I was really sad, right? I couldn't go out of the house because I was too nervous, too anxious, too scared what's going to happen. It literally paralyzed me and I got sick. So my husband got me that course. So I was able to shift my mindset from the victim mentality to being scared to like, okay, I'm just going to focus on learning something. I'm just going to focus on learning something. I'm going to focus on helping others. I'm going to focus on how I can use my skill set to help others in the online world. Because what I had in England, it wasn't online based, right? It was deliveries, physical based. So that's how my journey started. So I was able to focus on learning how to be a coach and consultant, and I never looked back. I started off using my skill set, what that I have at that time, and it came from my best friend. She was like, oh my God, expenses are too much, I'm not able to save money. I'm like, I can help you. I'm learning to be a coach. I know how to save money because I've been learning that for years. And I've practicing it for years. And she was like, okay, let's do it. And then I told her, okay, even though we're best friends, you still got to pay me, okay? Because this is a service like I'm providing. And then she's like, okay. And since then, Sharika, it has gone from one niche to the other, to the other, to the other, and how it has grown organically. How it started was organic, and then how it moved, and then I taught women how to build a business, and then I taught women how to make sales, and then I taught women about how to write books, and then now I'm bringing it to the next level to publicity and media, because I want their voices to be heard on multi-platform, whether it's on Forbes, on TV, on magazines, on TED, because that is my dream. That's what I want, for my voice to be heard, so that Nadra, my daughter, can grow up in a world, not only she can be proud of who she is, but live in a society that is open and accepting to each other's differences.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. And that's quite
Thank you.
A story. I mean, you had the foundation set from birth, and usually, and this is what I have heard. Usually women from your culture, is that a usual thing for women from your culture to be introduced to business, or that was ideal to your grandmother?
Oh, that was just momming. That was just momming because, she is, the way I say that, she is a legend. She's a formidable woman. She didn't let circumstances stop her from wanting something nice. She paid for her own vacation. She paid for her own car. She paid for her own jewelry. So she wanted all those things, but all those things herself, nice things, right? She loves pretty things. She loves nice things. So I feel that it's just to My own grandma. When I go to people's houses, I rarely see them having like stuff on their dining table, like whether it's a cake, it's a jewelry. Oh my God, Sharika, I used to remember going to the fabric shop with mom in. I go to the fabric shop with mom, and there's thousands of patterns, colors. I go nuts. I'm like, I can't, mom, I don't even know how to choose. So Mamin would choose the red, the blue, the green, this pattern, that pattern, and I would be the one end up carrying all those fabric, right? Because then she sells it. So she make it easy so that her friends who are her age couldn't drive that far, so that her friends can have fabric to sew. So she would have the different patterns. So she was very creative, very entrepreneurship. And when I see women or when I meet with women who's like, oh, I haven't got money or this and that. And I'm like, Momin isn't highly educated, but she figured it out. She figured it out on how she can create an income for herself. So surely, darling, surely you can find a way to use whatever skill set that you have to make it work. So that's why, one of the things that I shared in my book, Money Makers, is kind of like, it's already in you, actually. It's already in you.
Yeah, that's amazing. So we have a limited time left. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being here with us. Please give us some love. And if you're not following me yet, I'd love to have your support. We do this every Thursday, usually in the afternoon. So, Dr. Jamil, what is the impact that you want to make on the world?
The biggest impact that I feel is for my children. I think I've mentioned it in my TED Talk before. It is for my daughter, Nadra, to my daughter, my daughter's daughter, my son's children, to grow up where they can be proud of who they are, from their roots, from their heritage, from their culture, from their religion. Because I feel, Sharika, like the revolution to overcoming social adversity isn't to blend, change, conform, or transform yourself to fit the preconceived notions of society's checklist, but rather to be proud and courageous of your roots and heritage, and also to be open and accepting of each other's differences. Like, we're different, that's how we are made. But to be open and accepting so that that person has the confidence, the courage to be who we are. I mean, let's take it this way, okay? Like in America, if we're not open to immigrants, are you even gonna taste curry or biryani or Korean food or Chinese food? Highly unlikely, right? So that's how, like, the embracing, the open and acceptance of each other, and then see that person beyond, the physicality, but see them as a mother who loves her children, as someone who's passionate about education, as someone who loves her community. So that's what I wanted to create, for it to be a safe place for my children's or other people's children's as well. The last thing that I want to do is having other children experience what we have, because I remember a point when I was picking up my son abroad from preschool. He was 4 then. So picking him up, as I come back, pick him up, we went through the dining hall to go to the car. It was a shortcut. So the big kids were there, the elementary kids were there, they were eating their lunch. So as I walk in towards the door, going out towards the door, my kids with me, my son, my daughter, Nadra, someone from the back, one of the children shouted, "Suicide bomber. You are suicide bomber. These are elementary children." And I froze. I'm like, did that happen? I turn around. Silence. All hundreds of eyeballs were on me and nobody spoke a word. And I'm like, I can't be here. So I took my kids out. I left. I sat in the car. I called my husband and I cried. Because I've been to other different countries before. I've stayed on other different countries. I haven't received that kind of treatment, that hostility. It's just shocking. I cried to my husband and I texted my son's teacher, "Hey, this is what happened. I don't know who said it, but I just want to let you know." And then I thought about, I'm just going to pull the kids out. I'm going to go to media and everything. But I'm like, stay. Everything's going to work out. So I came back the next day, and the next day and the next day. And then all of a sudden, right, when I'm walking to pick up my son, this is a few months on, jumps the principal from the parking lot. And she was like, hello, Mrs. Jamil. I am the principal of the school. I just want to let you know that that incident has been taken care of. And I'm like, really? How? I don't even know who that person is. And this is the game changer, Sharika. She said, there is one child who heard what his friend said and said, this is not okay. So that child went to the teacher and said, hey, my friend said this and it's not okay. So I've always prayed for that child, because for him or her to stand up to the truth, even though it's hard, right? Yeah. Even though like the whole society was like, yeah, whatever. But that child had the courage to say, hang on a minute, it's not okay. Completely changed the whole, it's a game changer. It made me feel safe. I've never, ever from there experienced hostility again in that school. And what an amazing child. Like both child are amazing. The kid who said it, I mean, obviously it's not his fault, right? It's not the child's fault to be saying that. And both of the kids taught me such a great lesson, but I learned from that the truth always prevails. Like the truth always prevails. And that's what I do. If I can just share this voice, this truth, Sharika, in whatever capacity and vessel can I have, and hopefully, I can give someone a chance to have a better life. So I hope that kind of like sums it. Sorry, I always get, I can still feel it. Do you know what I mean? It's just, yeah. Sorry,
I can feel it too. You made me emotional as well. So I'm sorry you had to go through that, but it's because of that why you're here. So it's also, you made it into a positive, and I'm grateful for that. I'm really grateful for that. Now you have to hop off. This has been a wonderful conversation, but I wanted to ask you, if you were able to show up at your Thanksgiving service, or I'm not exactly sure what it's called in your culture, or your funeral service, if you were able to sit in on that, what would you like to be said about you?
Oh gosh. Well, this question, just the other day alone, my husband and I completed our trust and our will, preparing for death, I would say. I think like one of the things that I want to be said in that is that more than anything, that I want God to be pleased with me, because I want my ticket straight to heaven. I want God to be pleased with me, and I see like this image comes up where I see a lot of people at my funeral, and they're all praying for me and say, you know what, she changed my life, or she did something good. Because of her, I'm able to be here. And I see my kids, I see my grandkids, and everybody in the community, and they're all there. It's a sad occasion, but they also were like, she did good. And she's a blessing in here. So, and they would continue to pray for me and ask for goodness. Like I said, I just want my straight ticket to heaven, God. I just want to go straight in. We call it like the Jannatul Firdaus, which is the highest level of heavens. Like we have different levels of heaven. I want to go to the highest, to the top one. So I want a straight ticket there. So yeah.
Okay, my final question to you is, how do you stay motivated on a daily basis?
How do I stay motivated? I start
Mm-hmm.
my day with the same routine. Prayers. I start off with prayers. We pray 5 times a day. So the morning prayer is before sunrise, and then afternoon, and then late afternoon, and then sunset, and then nighttime. So I always start one with a morning routine, prayers, and then I would read the Quran, and then I would drink some water and take my supplements, and then I do some grounding work, whether I have go to the garden and have my feet on the ground. So that's kind of always the same thing that I do every day. It just helps me to settle in.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have a structure, you feel safe, right? Because you
Yeah,
fall into that place. It makes
yeah,
you
that's
feel
true.
safe, it makes you feel strong and formidable. And then I just start my day, and then I set the intention. Who do I want to be today? Who do I want to serve? And I keep my things to things to a minimum. Like I only do a couple of things for the business wise every day, because it can get overwhelming, right? It can get like too much burnout. So I'm like, okay, this is the priority today. I'm gonna take care of one in the morning, one in the afternoon. The rest are for my family, or the rest can wait tomorrow, or the rest I can hand it off to my project manager.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I stay productive every day. I only choose to do things. I'm beginning to clean things up and eliminate things, a distraction, and only focused on the things I love to do, or the thing that is going to bring me most beneficial, or the most faster way for me to reach my goals.
Right, right. I love it. So, everyone, this we have been talking to Dr. Izdihar Jamil. She is a Malaysian woman, correct?
Yes.
Right. And she made it from Malaysia to America with her family and has found success for herself and her family, and she continues to do so, letting her voice be heard and changing the narrative. So if you want to let your voice be heard, you can give her a connect with her on Instagram. She's amazing, as you can see, and she'd love to work with you. I am Sharika Sebi, if you're new here. I'm a life coach and mentor, author of An Introduction to Freedom. This book is designed to
Yay!
help you live your best life, come out of your own way, so to speak. And I'm also the host of this show, of course, as a
Yay!
speaker. So connect with me if you haven't. Follow me if you haven't yet done so. I'm here every Thursday having another amazing conversation. I'm considering taking the show off Instagram so that I could get the audio, but then it's so good here and I get to interact with you guys. So I'm conflicted. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you all next week. Thank you, Dr. Jamil, for joining us. Have
Thank
a
you,
good rest of the day.
Sharika. May
You're
peace be
welcome.
upon you. Bye.
Bye.